I'm Dekevis Perry. I'm a student physical therapist right now in a hybrid accelerated cohort here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm here with my classmate, my brother, the great Aaron Kennedy. I'll let him introduce himself a little bit.
My name is Aaron Kennedy. Birds of a feather, they say. So everything you say definitely applies back to you, Dekevis. But we are currently in a hybrid program. Welcome to Built Different podcast, the DPT edition. We're just going to be really taking on through our journey as a student doctor of physical therapist, going through a hybrid program. Also, the ins and out of what that looks like inside school and outside school, just into our normal lives and how we kind of just go through and get to the finish line and then beyond that. So thank you for everybody who's tuning in. And Dickie was already talking about greatness, but this man is probably one of the most humble people that I know.
Um,
You have to tell people, how did you get into finding physical therapy as this is the path that I want to take?
Man, that's a loaded question, bro, for sure. But my journey that led to physical therapy was I went into college. I was originally a nursing major. Started out as a nursing major. Thought that was what I wanted to do, but I kind of had to choose between football and school was paying for my education, so I chose football, and I kind of progressed from there. I went to medical laboratory science. Then I was like, what the heck? My personality is so broad and outgoing. I don't think I want to do medical laboratory science. So then I had an injury. And when I had tore my ACL when I was a junior in college, and during that rehab process, I absolutely fell in love with physical therapy. And ever since, it's been history. I've been living my dream. So that's how I got into it. How about you, Aaron? How did you get into
Man, man, that's just like, like
it?
that's such an amazing story to me, just because, like, what are the chances that you got hurt and injured and that was like your way to be like introduced to something that you just kind of fell in love with? Um, like, that's
That's
very
what I was.
often.
It was just God's plan, not mine. How about that?
Hey,
That's all
look,
I can say.
amen, amen. For me, I was an athlete as well, but I was a track and field athlete. 400-meter hurdler for any 400-meter hurdlers
Shout
out
out,
there.
shout out.
But I didn't get any injuries while I was running track. But I did see like athletic training, and I saw just like other people go to physical therapy. Um, but that wasn't really the kicker to get me into the door. I actually started school as a pre-med major, and I was like, I'm just gonna, figure out everything as I go. And I got into a nurse weed out class, and I was like, okay, I gotta switch. Gotta switch my major. I still, I still wanted to get a medical field, but I just didn't really know the direction. And I was a brand new athlete. I started my junior year of high school, and then that's kind of when I first started track, and then I got picked up to run D1. So the exercising, the fitness, the routine in that direction really started to like I got really attached to it. So started to look at things where I can be surrounded by exercise and just the physical aspect of rehabilitation. And that's how I found exercise science. And then that's how I also found physical therapy. And ever since then, it was like, I don't need to look anymore. This is
Yeah, yeah,
this is where I belong. It makes so much sense.
absolutely.
Um, but I went into the military. I took a little different route, getting to where we are now, and had my good time that I served in the Air Force. And after that, doing a job that has nothing to do with physical therapy. But after that, I was like, you know what? I really want to get back to the whole plan and the whole mission, academically wise. So I applied South College and found my brother, found a classmate
Yeah.
now, and we're almost halfway done with our program now. So it's looking good. It's looking good.
Oh, for sure. But as y'all can see, this man is all kinds of trophies that he's not telling us about. He's got a closet full. Uh, Army, D1 track athlete. This guy has it all, but not even saying he's like a class leader as well. He's not going to mention that, but I will. But before we go to the next subject, I just want to ask, what was that weed out class that you had? I'm just curious.
It was honestly, it was just a higher level bio class,
Uh-huh.
but the professor, he was just um really bent on like separating the people who are just trying to like get through the class and
Yeah.
for the next level after that, because that's when you really start your more major prerequisites, to apply for different like grad programs. He just really wanted to make sure that people who were going forward like really knew their stuff. And
Right.
I remember that was the lowest grade I've ever like gotten in my entire academic career. When I tell you
Yeah.
it shifted
Yeah.
my trajectory.
I know this ain't for me. Like, I would say I had the same thing happen with medical laboratory science, but mine was genetics and then also biochemistry. I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like,
Speaking of undergrad and just like the whole application process, what made you choose to do a hybrid program versus a traditional type of program?
for me, for the hybrid program, I chose to do that because I also went to South for my PTA degree that I got, and when I did that, I did a hybrid program as well, hybrid accelerated for that. And it was really helpful because it allowed me to like work, still see family, spend time like where I saw it needed, independent study. Like I didn't have to go to class every day. But it did make me made me already use my skills that I learned from like being an athlete and things of that nature, like the structure, prioritizing my time, just making sure I had all my priorities in line in order to, be able to study and things of that nature. So that kind of pushed me toward another DPT, like our program where it's hybrid accelerated because I was already accustomed to it. So I was like, oh, I can't be much different. So that's definitely what got me into this one versus a traditional. I was like, man, the breaks might be way too long. I don't want like a 3 week break. I feel like I would lose focus and things of that nature. So but yeah, I'm definitely happy about this because we halfway through. Like it feels like it's flown by. Like literally, yeah, emphasis on it. Like so yeah, we halfway through and it feels like we've flown through it, but we've put in the time, we put in the work, we know our stuff. I mean, we wouldn't have made it this far if we didn't, you know what I mean? So definitely appreciative of it and that's like the main thing. I mean, 2 years always sounds better than three, so
Right. If anything got me in the door, it was definitely that last part. 2 years definitely sounds better than three.
yeah. What
Um,
about you, Aaron? What made you say I'm gonna do hybrid accelerated versus a traditional?
Honestly, I have a good wife who was like, "You got to be doing something." So
Ah, that's a good
I
woman.
was
That's a good woman right there. That's a good.
I was actually transitioning out of the military,
uh,
and my job in the military, as I said, was vastly different than physical therapy. I was a fuels troop. I was working on the flight line, gassing up jets majority of the time until I got into later in my short career where I was a learning and development specialist. So
mm,
just training and support is what we call it. And that is a logistician has, yeah, I can apply that and I can get a job, but it wasn't something that I wanted to continue outside. In the civilian world, I really wanted to get back to health and wellness. I've always been a part of it in one way or another. So at first I was like, oh, like I'm gonna, become the best personal trainer that there's out there. No shade, no harm to personal trainers. I love personal trainers.
absolutely.
Um, but my wife was like, I just see that you can contribute in a different way, to, the field that you want to be a part of. And, you know, uh, he who finds, a wife finds a good thing, let me tell you. So she pushed me and motivated me to really step out of my comfort zone and finish my undergrad, which I finished last year. And then I also got accepted into the program last year as well.
Man,
But I chose the hybrid format because, like you said, two sounds better than three. Two sounds
right.
better than three, and it can and it allows me to continue this process instead of having like an extended amount of just idle time sitting there. Because like you're saying, like traditional program, you do have, a lot of not a lot of breaks, but you have an extended amount of time in comparison to ours when you have the break time. Um, but I kind of wanted to try to get back to work as soon as possible.
Yeah,
So finish school and then immediately start working and make that gap a little less. So I think that was one of the, biggest selling points for me for an accelerated program. And plus hybrid, I can be at home a little more, spend time with my family. The military does a great job of, requiring your time and your attention. So
right.
being able to be a little bit more present and just enjoy just life and keep on leveling up with my
Yeah,
family and traveling. It's been amazing. I think it was the best choice that I could have made. But the you're right about the material. It holds no punches back,
yeah,
and understanding the material, getting through, and the sheer volume. Like we're first week down in this quarter, for us, and it seems like it's nonstop.
yeah. A lot of students they ask questions about the accelerated program, like, are we really able to absorb the information in a short period of time? Like, could you speak more on that? Like,
So, well, can you rephrase your question?
uh,
Um,
like the question is like, can you realistically absorb like all the information you need to know within the 2 years versus the three?
yeah, I actually 100% I feel like when people think about the sheer volume
Hmm.
of the information that we're receiving, they kind of think it's like I need this elongated time in order to absorb this information, but that's not necessarily how it works. When you are under pressure, and maybe I'm just speaking because I was in the military, but when you're under pressure
Yeah.
and you're constantly in something, you can gain a huge volume of information and education and acquiring skills that you may not think that you are well equipped for, but it's really about endurance. It's really about your perseverance. It's
Right.
really about those character traits that translate back into like you being able to be like, I can handle this.
Hmm.
Because looking back, we started last year. I didn't know none of this stuff. What we do,
Right.
I didn't know nothing. But I'd be it would be incredibly disrespectful to my peers, my teachers, and just myself to say that I don't know anything now. You out your mind. We're about to start clinical soon.
Right.
So, we're gonna be operating on a level of degree that uh could have seemed just with so much pressure, but you have to you just have to be built for it. You have to
Built
be
different.
mentally built for
You gotta be built
it.
different. Right.
What
Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that. I definitely think it's possible. I mean, we're doing it. And like you said, the elongated breaks, as I had spoke on before, I just feel like it wouldn't allow me to really push myself. A word that Aaron and I have learned throughout this program is neuroplasticity. Y'all look that up whenever y'all get the chance. But that right there, it allows you to grow. You stress yourself a little bit, and that's the only way you really can grow. So I like that. I like being out of my comfort zone. So if you're willing to be out of your comfort zone and push yourself a little harder, just for a shorter period of time, I think that this is definitely like something that you should look into. and you're willing to prioritize that time, that's the biggest thing. And that's those are like my biggest selling points, and the two better than three for sure. The year, so go for that. But something else I want to talk about, Aaron, was what do you think about like the burnout risk versus deeper learning? Like you think the shorter time frame will cause you to burn out quicker, or what do you think?
Are you referring to burnout within the career or just burnout with the sheer volume of
Like
material?
the sheer volume of material, like while we're learning, do you feel like, oh man, I'm gonna get burned out quicker within 2 years because it's so much, or do you think 3 years would be better as far as the material?
You know, I don't have the experience of being in a 3 years,
Yeah.
but I do feel like you might get more burned out in the 3 years in comparison to 2 years. And my opinion is that because these are the moments and times where I'm like very invested, highly motivated. Like 2 years, you get 2 good years out of me. I start feeling the burnout a little towards the end in a sense, but now we're about to start clinicals. So it's like now there's like the more applicable side of things. We still will have classes, but I think when it comes to sheer volume, um, burnout burnout is going to happen. You're going to feel the pressure of having multiple tests, per week. You're going to feel the pressure of having to study, but that is fortunately and unfortunately, that is how the program is designed. It is designed to put that amount of pressure on you because it's going to force you to grow. Like you said, like listeners, look up neuroplasticity. It very much is driving this boat right now.
Right.
That's a very good question. I've experienced burnout within the program we're in, just a point where I feel like I'm very exhausted, but those moments happen towards the end of the quarters.
Hmm.
That's after we're done with our lab immersions. That's after, we're done with one or two of our finals. I'm like, I literally don't got whatever you get out of me.
You got nothing left. Like, they took it out of me.
But what about you? What do you
Um,
think?
I agree with you again, of course. So I agree with you there. Definitely, like when I experienced the burnout, it was more so towards the end of the quarters, where we had went through the entire quarter learning so much material. We had to do a lab. Our labs are like continuous, so you don't really get a break in between. We might get a half a day or 1 or 2 days throughout that time period, and we also have finals after that. So it was like a burnout at the end of all of that. But I would say at the beginning of each quarter, I feel a little refreshed. You never feel 100%, but I would say I felt better. And then I was ready to learn more material. And with this 2 year program, you really don't get the chance to really get burned out with the material. Like, oh, I'm so tired of learning this. It's more so like I'm ready to apply. Like you were saying, we're about to go into clinical. So before you even get to the point where you're like, all right, I'm tired of learning this, they're like, all right, let's sign you up for your first rotation. Like, let's go ahead. So you get excited all over again. You're like, dang, I can't believe I made it this far. I'm about to actually go out and practice the stuff that we learned. So it's definitely a fun process. Like, and then you get to learn these things. And I love like the labs are at the end of each quarter because we get to apply them on each other when we go to lab, and that's when I get to see my brother Aaron every time he comes to Nashville. So it's just the best exciting feeling. You get to see your classmates, you get to do all these things, and it gives you like another burst of energy within the hybrid program because it's quick. Everything is moving along, but at the same time, it's very detailed and very precise. So that's what I would say.
Do you feel like that you are lacking in one way or another, like the information that you have, or, as clinicals get closer, do you feel like there's um, a lot for you to get prepared for clinicals, or do you feel like you are like, hey, when I get to clinicals, I'll feel pretty good. Basic, like, of course, I'm not gonna be perfect, but like very ready for it. How do you feel about it?
Um, so I'm already a PTA, so I feel pretty comfortable within the clinic. But I would say that going into it, I've never been a DPT, so this is a new horizon in my life. So,
Mhm.
so I would say as a DPT, I feel like I'm confident in my skills. I just think that I need a good blueprint of what I'm expected to do. So when I go in there, I'll know what I need to do. I feel like the program has definitely prepared me. I don't think I lack in any of the areas there. Maybe just the practice. That the biggest thing with us is we've learned the material, we know it. It's just about applying and practicing at this point. So that's where I feel like I'm at with it. I don't think I lack though. How about you?
No, I mean, maybe I'm too confident.
Hey, that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
I feel good. I feel ready for the challenge. I feel very open to the challenge. Um, I know my first clinical side, I don't know about other people that much, but it's a cute patient for me. So, I'm looking forward to, working with that population and just really getting, you know, just the experience. And then we go off to other sites as well in our different rotations and be open to even more experience. I don't feel like I'm lacking. I don't feel like that I'm behind any type of curve. Our staff does a great job of being realistic with you, I will
Yeah,
say.
they give
So,
you many
my
scenarios.
over
Literally,
they will let you know. They will let you know.
right.
But I don't I say that maybe overconfident. It's just because of my excitement. But I'm normal grounds of confident. I don't feel like that I'm lacking. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be.
Mhm. I think that's a good point right there. Like you feeling overconfident, I would say like always having that willingness to learn, like being open to learning is definitely huge because even though like myself in PTA, I still don't know everything, or I still can learn like new techniques, learn things that make more sense. Like just always being open to learning. So that's really good. That's really good.
Man, you know what's also coming up other than clinical?
Yeah. Hey man.
So
Well,
great thing about being in a hybrid accelerator program is that the timeline for things are a little bit accelerated. So we actually have the opportunity to get our white coats this year. It's coming
that's
up.
right.
Um, that's
Yes,
going to be
sir.
a huge deal. I'm going all out. I don't know about you, Dakivis.
Hey, you know I am. I got to fresh to death.
there's this whole thing in the physical therapy world about how we don't really wear our white coats like that when we're actually out, inside the clinics and stuff. But they have their own symbolic meaning within the medical world. But do you have any like personal meaning, or can you like what would it do once you put that white coat on and have your name and your,
Man, that
your
that white coat,
DPT?
that white coat for me is gonna, be like a step into my dream, because this whole profession is really my dream. So me being able to put on a white coat is like, you finally did it kind of thing. Even though I haven't, graduated or passed my boards, it still is just like you finish the didactic portion, and it just will be like a really warm feeling for me. Like, because my journey has been so it felt like it was strenuous, but it was all God's plan. So it's just a grateful and humble feeling, like really proud of myself. And I know my friends and family will be there to support me as well. So it just would be a really humbling feeling for me. How would that feel for you? Coming
Man,
from
I'm
coming
going
from
crazy.
coming from all that you've had happen in your life, man. I know you you've been around the world, literally Japan and all kinds of places. So this is a crazy day. I know. So I'm excited for you, literally.
You know, when you see different things in your life and have different type of experiences and you see the highs and lows, um, you gain an appreciation for those who commit themselves to their craft and really put in all that they can into, you know, just making that the best thing that they touch. So to me, the white coat is just it's another layer who like I've always wanted to become someone who is charged with just helping the environment around him, when it's helping people, being part of the community, just being able to give back, being able to nurture, being able to educate, being able to just help people. And like other people as well, I would be the first doctor in my immediate family. So that also like pushes, you know, the ante a
Hmm.
little bit higher. Like, you know,
Right.
if the Lord blesses with children one day, they gotta beat me now. Like it's,
Uh,
so you know
I'm the standard. Yeah, I like that. That's a great point.
so,
That's a great point.
so you, so you know, yeah, and I feel like, you know, that's important to understand, like this is more than just me. And I get so excited just to think about all the people that will be able to help, you
Right.
know, from just being able to get over a different type of headache to being able to walk again. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah, bro, my family call me now. They be like, "Hey, I got some nerve pain going down my leg." I'll be like, "Oh my god, I can't see you. I don't know what's going on." They want you to solve stuff over the phone. So, like you said, man, it's a great feeling. Your family will start, treating you as so, which is a very, very good feeling. Like they really value what the information you learn because they know the strenuous education that measures that you've taken. So having that, just kind of is rewarding. Like you said, it just feels very good. And also, we set the standard. That's the biggest thing. The bar is now a little higher. Yeah, that's right, a little higher. So it's awesome. And then not only that, in a black community, you know what I mean. You step into a different field, especially where African Americans aren't seen very often with
yeah,
PhDs or any kind of doctoral degree. So it's anywhere between about 3 to 5% that African Americans are doctors in the United States. So we become that 3 to 5%. That's very great feeling, honestly.
yes,
And then,
yes,
like you
yes.
said, if we have children, hey, that bar, you know what you got to get to. So yeah, hey, you guys got. So for sure,
Definitely shout out to the 3%. I think it's three. It could be 4% now, but in the field of physical therapy, there's only 4% who are Black doctors. So,
yeah,
you know, shout out to those who are really making historical emotions like when it comes to our profession. We
right,
see y'all, we appreciate y'all, and if you're listening,
definitely.
like thank y'all for everything that y'all are
Thank you
doing.
for
But
sure.
before we start winding this down, last question. Do you have any type of advice or maybe a one-liner that you can give to people who are applying to physical therapy school right now?
One line of advice. Let me think. I'll say make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Okay, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and say trust your heart. If you believe that this is where you should be in a physical therapy program, or if you want to be a physical therapist, then go for it 110%. One of my coaches used to always tell me, whether do something, anything you do it right or wrong, do it at 110%. So you either do it fully wrong or fully incorrect. Either way, you can learn from it. So that's the advice I would give. How about you?
Okay. So what
What's
about me?
Yeah, what would you give our aspiring physical therapy students or anybody out there in the PT world?
For me, I would say, man, you had a good one. You had a good one. But I feel like for me, it's just trust your instincts and hold on to faith. I've been through a lot of things personally, and the one thing that got me through each and every time is just trusting my instincts and really holding on to my faith when I don't understand the path I'm going down or I don't understand everything going around me, but I do understand that there's a plan for me. So that will always keep me grounded. And when you're applying to physical therapy school and thinking about it, hey, it I feel like grad school is the perfect moment for things to start happening from left to right.
God,
So just hold on.
man, literally stuff coming out of left field. You're like, oh my God.
But thank y'all for tuning in with us today. We're the Built Different Podcast DPT edition. My name is Aaron Kennedy. This is DeKevis Perry. We are so glad that you all are tuning in. Next time, we'll talk a little bit more on the ins and outs of our hybrid program,
Yeah.
answering some of the questions that we have. But any last things you got for the people, DeKevis?
Yeah, if y'all have any kind of questions that y'all would like for us to answer or anything like that, please feel free to shoot us an email, type in comments, anything like that. And as always, like, share, and comment on these videos. So look forward to seeing y'all soon.
All right, take care, listeners.